Alright, I'm coming in here for the next alert. So I usually pull one card and whatever's at the bottom of the deck, and then we go from the energy there. Basically something to be aware of as you go through your time here, no matter what you're dealing with. It's an energy that you should be mindful of, is what they're trying to get across here. So I'm going to get into it. The card that we got was Temperance. Which makes total sense here, right? With it, and again, this is multi-level stuff. We could be going from things in the public view, in the world view, all the way down to something personal, having to do with the self. So, Temperance. The book meaning here represents balance, harmony, moderation, finding inner peace, healthy relationships, being able to be calm in and amongst the flow of life, no matter what's going on. So that's kind of like keeping that balance. And that's usually, when I get this card, they go temper, temper. And that's a reminder to keep your balance no matter what is going on outside of you. Like, everybody has their triggers and whatnot. And this is all about knowing your triggers, being aware of your triggers, healing, so we don't get triggered, and if we are triggered, to try and find a balance so that we don't get, continue to let this be something that triggers us. And there's a lot of stuff. It's interesting because I'm coming in after the pop of the American election. So this was a trigger. This was a huge fire. Boom. Off it went. And there's people that are bad losers, and there's people that are I don't know, good winners. I don't know what the deal is there, but you know what I mean? There's a very extreme energy in the field right now. I can feel. And yesterday I was like, yeah, I got to go in for these alerts. And I'm also going to come in here next for the Underground Railroad reading, which is going to get caught up in a lot of different stuff. I was discussing with my guides how I want to take this. And I think we're going to switch over to Rumble from here. I'm going to do a 5-part episode, so the next episode of the Underground Railroad will be the last in the series on YouTube. But I will be following up on Rumble to a different type of energy. And I'll see you there to figure that one out. It's going to be an adventure series, like a psychic adventure kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, you can head on over there and figure that out. But anyway, in the meantime here, we're talking about temperance. That's what they want to alert you to. Keep your temper. Be careful. Like a child learning how to, when the kid's poking them and bugging them. Balance, harmony, and moderation. Now, that is the book meaning. So, as we go into what I'm guided here, there's also a greater sense of being, how would you say, like an inflow universally of instinct, gut reactions, this kind of stuff. A lot of inner workings are being downloaded at this time. And it's a matter of downloading those workings and figuring out a way to incorporate that into your physical world. Spiritual messages are coming through. They want you to incorporate that in your spiritual world. That's how I see this card, is, though I don't know that I verbally say that, because again, each reading has its own energy, so you're caught up in that flow of energy, and those cards will warp and morph to that that movie scene that's going on in your head. You wrap it around that. And here, it's open. And they're basically just saying, you be that open vessel and you work with the energy that you get internally, go outwardly in that energy, right? And again, I'm presuming these people are on the right side of the tracks when it comes to, the good of yourself and others involved. That's what I'm talking about, is pulling that energy. Because I feel like, and I mean, I know I've been triggered lately watching all of this crap on it you can't get away from it no matter, right? All of this crap is very triggering, and it is hard because it's like, and it may be deliberately coming down because we may have issues in this exact area. And that's why it's so maddening, because you have these people that seem like they're getting away with stuff. I mean, they're getting strung up, but it's like, man, they got away from it for so long. How is this so it's that frustration factor. So I feel like the Temperance here to remind you of that. And also remind you, you're getting downloads. Take note, because these are very valuable, but they're not valuable if we don't take it out in the physical world. Again, being on the positive poles here, this is what I'm dealing with. Okay, so the card underneath the deck, this is the gold deck. Again, it doesn't scan very well, so the pictures kind of, the banner and stuff kind of distorts. But the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Pentacles. And, I mean, there's no better pair than these two. The Temperance card and the Queen of Pentacles. They both have a level head. So the book meaning for the Queen of Pentacles is someone that is down to earth. Someone who takes responsibility for roles in their life and has a high care for their family. That when she's looking at that Pentacles, that represents everything that she touches. It's like her family, her work, her whatnot. And again, the Queen is the mature female, the feminine presence who receives a lot of in her physical world. And there's also a sense here from the book meaning they're talking about childcare and well-being of family, because the Queen is more focused in that area. Even though she has a great work-life balance, she manages to keep her head straight. She doesn't blow off in certain areas, again on the positive poles here, but she doesn't blow off in areas where they don't need to. She uses her energy efficiently. She goes slowly enough. There's always one. She goes slowly enough where she doesn't take too much on that overwhelms her to make her blow out in certain areas. So again, down to earth, very responsible feminine figure who represents a mature feminine, and may also be looking after children and the well-being of family in that way. Now, I get very much the same thing. I always get that down to earth and not getting emotionally charged, right? Because this is the Queen of Earth. So she is grounded. A lot of things I know nothing about, but this would be someone I could learn a lot from, because anybody can learn a lot from having to do with being out there with their emotions. This one has very much their emotions under control. It's a natural process for them to go slow so that, again, they don't how would you say? They don't let any emotions overcharge them. And that goes along great with the Temperance card, right? When you put the two side by side, the Temperance is receiving things from the universal flow and pulling it into the physical world. And that's kind of like the water in the land. And she's pouring one cup into another. Again, the unconscious, or the I see it like they're making me feel that it's the one cup is the universal opinion, the universal guidance, the universal flow that's trying to get into you. The other cup is your physical universe, your physical vessel, your mind that it's dropping into. Think of your mind as a cup that the universe just flows into. And then you're free on the physical earth. When we come into the Queen of Pentacles, you're free to act that out in a calm, feminine manner. Someone who's got control of their life, they're balanced in their life. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles just carries that balance so naturally. It is a part of her. And then if you get the Queen of Cups in there, which I resonate with highly, you can have emotional feelings all over the place, just throw you off. But this Queen of Coins knows she keeps everything. Even her emotions, they're all in balance. So it's naturally, a little bundle there. She doesn't have to worry about things sparking off anywhere in any way. And I feel like really this alert is rising to the fact that there's going to be things coming here we may even already have instinctive knowledge about, okay? And I feel like we're being streamlined in a way to accept certain things. And even though, again, things can be triggering, is to keep our peace. And again, not let anything get in the way of that. Now, if I look back here into things, moderation is huge when it comes to the Temperance card. Finding a balance and avoiding getting caught up in conflict. And this is what I feel. Because, even, with the politics. And I find this very hard because I'm not going to state my political views in any way. But internally what your views are, and then when someone comes outside of you, again, a lot of programming here that needs to be overcome, but nonetheless, when you cut through all that, it's still triggering. It still can leave a bitter taste, and people don't know how to deal with that at this time. And I feel like, depending on where you're at on that scale of dealing or not dealing well, and there's a certain point you just have to accept things as they are. There's certain things, and I had to learn this late in life, is there's certain things you can control. There's certain things you can't. And I used to get so caught up in anger and bitter about things I just couldn't control. You can't change it no matter. So what's the point of wasting energy when it's something you can't do anything about? You can't change it, you can't da-da-da. And then it's like that acceptance speech, right? Learn to change. What is it? There's a saying, it's like the grace to accept things as they are, and then change things you can, and things you can't, let it go, kind of thing. Yeah, it's all about that. So the alert here, above and beyond all the readings and everything you get caught up in, is to keep yourself in moderation. Keep your values, your morals, your principles. A strong sense of self, too, comes through in this Temperance card. Is being able to sit in peace and grace in who you are and be okay with that and not have anybody pull you off it. Very much the Temperance and the Strength card comes up for me. Because the Temperance is just the energy of balancing things to a degree. And then the Strength comes in is keeping that boundary no matter where you go and what you do, not letting anybody pull you off that. And I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is one of those people that naturally has an easy time resonating where she's at in that balance. And so much so that it kind of flows outward quite a bit, where other people in that energy, they're not going to challenge that. That's what I get from the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the last stage before hitting the Empress card. And the Empress, the Queen of Pentacles, she's still striving, and the Empress is just is lavished in it. So it's like the Empress has already done her work. She's already created her flow. She's already created everything that she wants, and now she's just reveling in it. And the Queen of Pentacles is still striving to gain, but nonetheless, again, it's a very mutual energy for her, the Temperance and all of that. But I'm just looking up here in control. She's able to execute effective business strategies, even, man, my voice. Somebody still don't want me to talk here. I thought I was through that, but I guess not. Whatever. She's able to execute effective business strategies even under the tight constraints of time. She's also quiet about her accomplishments. Yeah, there's no sense of high ego here. The Queen of Pentacles very much just resonates. She's just, it's hard to express, but when I see people, their energy, it can spark, it can flow, it can hover, it can, like if you're talking about auras, I guess would be what this would relate to. And the Queen is very much a hover. She just hovers in her energy, and it can be triggering for some who haven't attained that peace and grace. It can be very triggering, and she's not trying to trigger, she's just vibrating at her own frequency. You know what I mean? And then there's people that are attracted to that because that is something maybe they don't have. So they want to learn, they want to get close to that so that they can have that for themselves, or they can develop that or whatever. It just feels comfortable because maybe their reality, they haven't mastered that whole peace and grace thing. So, what else? Leadership. She symbolizes leadership and reaching a stage in life when you are happy in your own skin. That's exactly it. And when someone is secure of self, that can be triggering for those who have no sense of self. It can be very triggering. And then they go off in directions, whatever. But again, that's your responsibility to get yourself to a place of peace and grace where you're not triggered by these type of people, right? In either way. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. I could go yapping through things, but nonetheless, that's your alert. Temperance, your incoming information is coming from your instinct, from the higher. When I say higher ups, I do not mean in the physical plane. I mean in the spiritual realm. There is stuff being downloaded, and it's about keeping your peace and grace, keeping calm, cool, collected, and floating through things, because it's only in this state that we really can gain contact with our instinct in a true way. Otherwise, we get off into ego, and ego can throw you off on the devil's side. That's just where he lives, is in the ego, right? So, and it's interesting because just this morning, I'm not going to say who, just this morning I saw somebody freaking out. Like, again, there's people freaking out about things that kind of doesn't make any rational or irrational sense to me. Even on the irrational side, I'm going, okay, so none of this makes sense. So I don't know. This is a reminder. Keep your brain with you. Keep your morals close. Keep your grace close. Try and translate what's being given to you from the universal flow. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles supports that energy quite naturally. She's about prosperity, security, financial, physical. She's got it all kind of covered, She's down to earth. She's, about the home. And again, we can't do anything outside of ourselves until we figure out what we need to do at home, this kind of thing. So, yeah, hopefully this helps you in some kind of way, even just to align to what matters in the moment. And this is what the universal flow is trying to get through to you. So take care, have fun, and be kind. And check out Rumble here in the near future. I will be putting out more content there. We will chat then. Take care, be kind.